I didn't cry when my son threw me out. I didn't scream when they said I was just extra rent. No, I smiled, because I already knew. I knew about the $53 million. I knew about the debt they were drowning in. And I knew what my late husband had left behind. A plan, a warning, and a secret trust that would save me. They thought I was helpless. But when the reporters came knocking, and I stepped outside into the flash of cameras, I wasn't just a poor old woman anymore. I was the woman who held every card. And this time, they were the ones begging for mercy. Before we begin, let me say this clearly. If you've ever been made to feel like a burden in your own family, if you've been used, dismissed, or managed as if your love came with a price tag, then this story is for you. I'm Dorothy, 67 years old, widow of a man who loved me more than life, and recently, unexpectedly, owner of a $53 million lottery ticket. But when I first saw those numbers flash across the TV screen, I didn't feel joy. I felt something much heavier, something more like clarity. Because just 12 hours earlier, my daughter-in-law Ashley had pulled me aside in the kitchen, all smiles, and said, "Dot, we've been thinking, since the kids are getting older, and we really need that guest room as a play space, maybe you'd be more comfortable downstairs. The basement's warm, and we can add a little kitchenette." She made it sound like a kindness. Marcus, my son, Harold's only child, nodded from the dining table, eyes on his phone. "It's not personal, Mom, just practical. You'll still have your space. It's just not fair to the kids." Not fair to the kids. That's what they always said when they wanted to push me aside. Never mind the $1,300 I paid them every month from my Social Security check. Never mind the unpaid hours of babysitting, cooking, cleaning, laundry. Never mind that when Harold passed away 2 years ago, Marcus said, "You're not alone, Mom. We'll take care of you." Now they wanted to put me in the basement like a piece of outdated furniture. So when those numbers popped up on the evening news, the ones I'd played every week for 30 years, I stared in stunned silence. My birthday, Harold's, our anniversary, the day we paid off the mortgage, all 6 numbers. A perfect match. I didn't scream. I didn't run around the room. I just sat there, alone at the kitchen table, gripping the ticket with trembling hands. Not out of fear, out of resolve, because I already knew what I was going to do. The next morning, I acted normal. Made the kids breakfast, cleaned the bathroom, folded a mountain of laundry while Ashley scrolled on her iPad. She didn't even say thank you. Around noon, I excused myself and took a long walk to the local bank. Safe deposit box, receipt in my purse. Then I called David Richardson, our old family lawyer. Harold trusted him. So did I. "David," I said, "I need to come in. It's urgent." He didn't ask questions, just told me to be there Monday. When I got home, Marcus was in the living room, pacing. "Hey, Mom, can we talk?" Ashley stood beside him, arms crossed like she was in a boardroom. "We have something exciting to share," she said with a grin. "But we need your help." They'd bought something. I could tell. That giddy, reckless excitement they always had before a big purchase they couldn't afford. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed me a blurry image of a glossy property listing. "A vacation home in Florida," he said. "It's an investment." Ashley chimed in. "We figured we could use some of your monthly contribution toward the down payment, just for a few months. You'll still have your room, well, the basement suite." They were serious, dead serious. I just smiled. "That sounds ambitious." Marcus beamed. "Exactly. We're thinking big, Mom, for the family, for the future." I nodded slowly. "Speaking of ambitious, have you checked your lottery numbers this morning?" Ashley blinked. "What?" I reached into my cardigan pocket and pulled out the ticket, laid it gently on the table between us. "Those are the winning numbers," I said softly. $53 million. There was a pause, a long, stunned, brain-scrambling pause. Ashley picked up the ticket like it was radioactive. "Wait, this is yours? I bought it last week. Same numbers I've been playing for 3 decades. Marcus grabbed his phone, fingers flying. Then his face turned pale. "She's not kidding," he whispered. "These are the winning numbers." Silence again. Then Ashley's face transformed. She smiled like someone who'd just discovered a golden egg under her mattress. "Well," she said sweetly, "this changes everything." Oh, yes. Yes, it did. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was overwhelmed, but because I was awake. Wide awake to all the ways I'd let myself be minimized, erased, and exploited. I thought about Harold, how he used to squeeze my hand under the dinner table whenever the world felt too loud, how he always said, "Dot, never confuse love with obligation. You deserve to be seen." Well, I was done being invisible. I was ready to be seen, loud and clear. And if Marcus and Ashley thought they were about to manage my money the way they'd managed me, they had another thing coming. This was no longer just about a lottery ticket. This was about justice. For Harold. For me. And for every woman who's ever been told she should be grateful just to have a place in someone else's life. The $53 million villa purchase notification hit Marcus's phone at 10:47 a.m. By noon, my voicemail was full. By sunset, I was finally free. They never remembered my birthday. Not once in 6 years. But they remembered this. Oh, they remembered this. When I posted a photo of my waterfront villa with the caption, "Sometimes the best gifts are the ones you buy for yourself." I didn't just celebrate a birthday. I ended a legacy of being forgotten. And the best part? They had no idea what else I'd been planning. It began 2 days earlier when I casually mentioned that I'd be moving out. Ashley's fake smile cracked like old paint. "You wouldn't just leave," she whispered. "Not after everything we've done for you." I calmly reached into my purse and pulled out a notebook. "Let's do a little math," I said. Over the past year, I'd paid $15,600 in rent, provided 1,200 hours of unpaid childcare, cooked over 300 meals, done 800 loads of laundry, and cleaned this house from top to bottom every week. In return, they'd planned to move me to the basement, treated me like a live-in maid, talked about me like a business investment at dinner parties. I told them I'd be claiming the prize Monday morning. Marcus panicked. "Mom, you can't make big decisions when you're emotional." Ashley nodded. "It's too complicated. You need guidance. From us, from your family." Family. The same people who charged me rent like a stranger, who measured my worth in chores and monthly payments. "Marcus," I asked, "do you remember what your father asked me to promise before he died?" He blinked, surprised. He made me promise never to let anyone, especially family, exploit my kindness. The silence was deafening. Ashley stammered, "This is a misunderstanding." "Oh? Because according to my notes, this misunderstanding has cost me about $20,000 this year." Ashley's face went pale. Marcus tried again. "But we gave you a home." "No," I corrected him. "You sold me a room, and I paid in cash, labor, and silence." Sunday morning, Ashley showed up to breakfast with a 3-ring binder and her brightest smile. "I've done some research," she chirped. "Did you know 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt?" She flipped through pages. Bad investments, tax mistakes, untrustworthy advisors. It's terrifying, really. "That's why you need family guidance," Marcus added. "Especially at your age, Mom, no offense." I sipped my coffee, calm, steady, watching their performance. "Did you also research what you've been charging me?" I asked. Ashley faltered. What do you mean?" "I mean, I looked up assisted living facilities yesterday. Turns out I could have had meals, laundry service, and private accommodations for less than what you've been charging me for a guest room and chores." More silence. "And now you want to manage my money?" I leaned forward. "Because I'm what? Too old to think for myself?" Ashley whispered, "We're just trying to protect you." I smiled. "From what? Independence?" By Monday afternoon, the media had caught wind of the win. 3 news vans were parked outside by noon. I watched from my bedroom window as Ashley answered the door with her hair perfectly styled, saying, "Mrs. Williams is resting, but as her family, we're so excited for this blessing in all our lives." All our lives. That phrase clanged in my ears like a warning bell. Everyone was calling. Church friends, old co-workers, even my cousin Patricia from Minnesota. But I had one destination in mind. David Richardson. At his law office, he smiled gently. Harold would be proud. We spent an hour discussing financial planning, trusts, annuities, and more. But then David said, "There's something I need to tell you. Something Harold made me promise to keep confidential, unless your family tried to take advantage of you." He opened a thick file. Harold suspected this might happen. 6 months before he passed, he hired a private investigator. I blinked. What? Your son and daughter-in-law are deep in debt. Credit cards, underwater mortgage, car loans. They've been living off borrowed money and your rent. David slid over another document. There's also a trust Harold created. $500,000 in your name, protected, untouchable, for when you'd need it. My eyes welled up. He had seen it coming, and he made sure I'd have what I needed when I was ready to see the truth. That night, I called a family meeting. Ashley arrived with her laptop full of financial plans. Marcus brought wine and an apology. I didn't let them speak. Instead, I placed the investigator's file on the table. Ashley's face turned white. "What is this?" Marcus asked. "Your financial reality," I said. "Debt, losses, and the truth you never thought I'd see." Ashley's voice cracked. "You invaded our privacy." "No," I said. "You exploited mine." I laid out every figure, what they'd taken, what I'd given, what they'd planned to take next. "You treated me like a business asset," I said, standing. "But now I'm taking my business elsewhere." Ashley burst into tears. Marcus begged, "Please, we needed help." "And you thought I was too old to see the trap." I pulled out one last document. "This is a deposit confirmation for a new apartment. 2 bedrooms, my own parking, a balcony with ocean view." I paused at the door. "And since you'll no longer have my rent to cover your credit card payments, you might want to start budgeting." I walked to my car, the sound of Ashley's sobbing echoing behind me. But that crisis? It was no longer mine. It didn't take long for the fallout to begin. By sunrise, I'd moved into my new apartment at Meadowbrook Senior Community, a place filled with laughter, light, and the kind of quiet dignity I hadn't felt in years. There was no screaming toddler, no passive-aggressive silence over dinner, no binder presentations pretending to be love. Just me, my morning coffee, and the sunrise painting gold across the water. But Marcus and Ashley? They were unraveling. It started with a call from Channel 7. They wanted a follow-up interview. Turns out, my impromptu driveway speech about being exploited by my own son had gone viral. Shared by elderly rights groups, financial independence forums, even parenting blogs titled, "When Children Fail Their Parents." Ashley tried spinning it, of course. She showed up on a podcast acting devastated, blaming a misunderstanding. She even said I'd been emotionally manipulated by outside parties, likely referring to my lawyer, David. But it didn't stick. People saw through the manicured smiles and caught-on-camera snubs. The internet wasn't kind to exploiters of the elderly. The real collapse came 3 weeks later. Marcus showed up at my new place, not in his usual polished demeanor, no perfect hair, no luxury watch, just slumped shoulders and trembling hands. "Mom," he said, standing outside my door like a lost little boy. "Please, we're drowning. The cards are maxed. Ashley's business. It's failing. We might lose the house." I stared at him for a long time. This was the same man who once told me I was too emotional to manage money. The same man who'd planned to exile me to a basement. Now here he was, begging. "Mom, please," he repeated. "You can save us. You have the money." I let out a slow breath. "I do. But Marcus, I didn't win the lottery to become your bank." He blinked, stunned. "But we're family." "Yes," I said. "And you taught me exactly what that means." Later that week, Ashley sent me a long email, carefully worded, apologetic. Even included a PDF titled Budget Restructuring Proposal, She offered to handle the legal paperwork for transferring a small portion of my winnings into a family trust. Her closing line made me laugh out loud. Think of it as a fresh start. One rooted in love, not resentment. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to David. Meanwhile, the news kept spiraling. Local outlets started digging deeper. It came out that Ashley's business had been flagged by the Better Business Bureau for deceptive billing. Marcus? Turns out he'd defaulted on a personal loan co-signed by a former friend. Their reputation in Cedar Falls? Shattered. Old friends stopped calling. Church members started whispering. Even Ashley's social media, once filled with carefully curated photos of brunches and inspirational quotes, was now a wasteland of deleted comments and silence. And me? I was thriving. David helped me set up a charitable foundation in Harold's name, the Harold Williams Fund for Dignity and Independence. It helped elderly folks fight eviction, escape exploitative living situations, and access affordable housing. I even gave a small grant to a woman in my community who'd been living in her daughter's garage. She cried when I handed her the check. I cried too. Not because I was sad, but because I knew Harold would have cried with me. The final straw for Marcus came 6 weeks after my move. He called, desperate. Mom, I'm sorry, okay? We messed up. We were scared. Ashley lost her job. The house is about to be foreclosed. Please, just help us keep the lights on. I said nothing. He continued, please, I'll pay you back. I swear, we'll change. I finally spoke. Do you remember what Dad used to say about justice? Marcus paused. Justice delayed is justice denied? I smiled. No, he said, justice delayed is justice with better timing. Then I hung up. They lost the house 2 months later. I watched the auction announcement in the paper over breakfast. No gloating, no spite, just closure. I thought about calling Marcus, just to see how he was doing. But I didn't, because healing sometimes means not reopening the wound. Instead, I went outside, watered my garden, and waved to my neighbor Joan, who'd just started dating again at 73. Life was moving forward, and so was I. The last time I saw Marcus and Ashley was at Harold's memorial tree planting ceremony. They stood across the crowd, awkward and ghost-like, unsure whether to approach me. They didn't, and I didn't wave. Harold's favorite quote was etched on the plaque beneath the tree. You don't owe anyone your silence just because they call themselves family. I whispered thank you to the wind, because in the end, I didn't need revenge. I just needed freedom. And thanks to a forgotten lottery ticket and a husband who saw everything before I did. I finally had it. If you believe Dorothy deserved every bit of her freedom, comment. Harold saw it coming. And if you've ever had to stand up to your own family, share your story below. Your voice might help someone else find theirs.